Hi friends, welcome to this fun video where we will continue to look at this art journal that I made. I made it, I bound it, I filled it, I played in it. I fill it with so much color that you'll be amazed. I hope you will be inspired to do something in your own art journal, to be a little bit creative today. Later on, when you finish this video, let's start there. So it has 4 signatures, like I mentioned in my previous video, where I showed all of these pages and did a little flip of those, and then we continued on to the second half of the book. I think we looked at these already, and so we'll just continue our journey through the art journal. So art doesn't have to be too serious, it can be just for fun. I cut out this random little person, critter, and decided to glue him in, give him a face, some ears and a little tail, and that was that. I think this is on watercolor, and then these are Posca markers, the yellow dots, as well as some of the pink and these flower doodles. This is a Dalai Lama quote that says, "Everybody wants a happy life and a peaceful mind, but we have to produce peace of mind through our own practice." And to me, even though I love meditating and yoga, I feel like I return to this kind of meditation a lot. This kind of flowers, the polka dots, the watercolors, just filling pages. And if you're a doodler yourself, you might understand why it took me almost 3 years to fill this. I just jumped into it when I wanted to do some watercolors, and I have other journals that I work a little bit more intense in. This was a class, but I don't remember where, sorry. I did my butterfly doodle, and then I followed someone who was showing how to do the different patterns. Trying to learn new ways of doing patterns. I was thinking I would like do something around the butterfly, but then I just left it as it is. And I also was thinking about coloring in some of this, but I don't know, I think it's fine as it is. And it took so long that when I was done, I was just, I'm moving on. I don't want to do anything on this page anymore. That's a page idea. Just draw a big shape and fill it with patterns. In this case, it is the wings of a butterfly, but you could do a vase, you could do a house, you could do any kind of shapes and fill them. And if you want ideas for how to do patterns, just search YouTube for centangles. Centangles are really fun to do. Anyway, a very iHanna page. It has some bleed through from a later page, but it is definitely just me sitting with my mind and drawing some little figures, their little dog, and writing some words, and then just continuing adding crosses, circles, little patterns, coloring them in, and then a bit more realistic sketch, but it's just imagination. It's nobody I know. Anyway, I love this page so much. And all the hearts and her super sharp teeth. And her dog, who has the same kind of teeth, even though her bestie or boyfriend, I don't know, their relationship doesn't have any sharp teeth. He's just so kind and gentle, and she's like, I'm gonna bite your arm. I'm sure they're best friends most of the time, because he just accepts this and says, okay, do you want to play? And then more doodles. I think this is also someone's YouTube video showing how they made a starting in the middle, doing a doodle, and then continued out. But I really don't like mine. I don't like the colors I used, and I don't like some of the patterns, even though I think this is beautiful. I really don't like this cluster of, like, it feels crammed, and yeah, and hers was so beautiful, and I'm sorry I don't remember who was inspiring me, because it's not someone that I follow. It's just a video that came up recommended that I saved to watch later, watched, did draw along with, and moved on. I think this is an exercise as well. I did that video with my mom, someone else's tutorial on how to fill circles, or I don't know what the tutorial was, but anyway, these are liquid watercolors. I have some of those, and this is liquid acrylics in one of those glass jars, you know. So we experimented with that. I think it needs something more, like maybe white dots around it, but I just left it as it is, because I really love some of these mixes and how they run in together, and just gonna leave it like that, because I mean, that's okay too. You will never finish the book if all of your pages are as elaborate as this, so some of them will be left without color, just so you can have it as a reference and look at it. And I think this would be a lot more pretty if I colored it in and used colors that I really love instead of this kind of dark green and orange, but I can also leave it, and I can leave this page as well, because I just can't fill all of the pages with this amount of, like, detail. This was really fun to do. Some new to me flowers, and I think I was looking at some patterns and just playing. Did them in with the black marker pen that is not water soluble, that is water fast, I think it's called, and in that way I could color the doodles in with watercolors later on. These are the Pigma brush pens that are running out. All of these are almost empty, so I marked which one I would throw away and just try to find some that were still good. Then some experiments with rainbows and doodles, and a bit of tape at the edge, which I love doing. So beautiful page, love this so much. It's like a mix of, like, swatching, playing, learning new stuff, and I think that is what an art journal should be about. Learning, meditating, playing. So I really like this spread. And then we have this one, and this is a actual YouTube tutorial of how to draw hummingbirds that I did also together with my mom. I provided her with a sheet of watercolor paper, and she used my paints, and we did try to follow along. And when I finished, I mean, now I think these are okay and good, but when I finished, I was so unhappy. I felt stressed because she was showing it way too quickly, and I paused and I backed and I paused, and then I felt like these were just so clumsy and ugly, and hers were so elegant that I left a comment there saying that I did this tutorial and mine looked like drag queen ducks. And I still get comments and laughs about that on her video. So that's fun. But maybe they're not drag queen ducks. They're just drunk hummingbirds visiting Sweden, and they have no idea how hummingbirds behave, because I've never met one. And I've never seen one in captivity either, because I don't know if you can have hummingbirds in captivity, at least not at a zoo in Sweden. And I've not seen any on my travels either, so that's why I wanted to paint them. And the metallics again are these metallics. They are called Coliro pearl colors, made in Germany. And I've talked about these before. So that's what those are. I used them on top of the other watercolors, and I made some splatters in gold, which I like how that turned out. But yeah, you can be the judge. If you have met hummingbirds, maybe you know if they look like, well, like them or ducks. I just think it was fun to write that comment. It's not a critique on her video at all. It's just a critique on the level of difficulty to make a super light, airy watercolor, which is something that it takes years of practice to make in a couple of minutes. Here she is again with her sharp teeth and a little bee with the same kind of sharp teeth. It's definitely self-portraits, all of them. How I feel in society, like I have two teeth that are too sharp. Dinosaur lizard dragon friend. Oh, and these this neon color is from the gouache set that I was experimenting with. I have a video showing me swatching the gouache pins I got. So that's that page, and then we have a little bit more of an abstraction, I guess. And this is from Sketchbook Revival 2023, so last year. I signed up as well, but I wasn't at home, so I think this is the only one I actually completed of all of the tasks or like prompts that they gave, which is a bit sad. But and I don't remember who gave this one, but it was like, draw this flower. I think they provided a photo. I thought it was really boring and bare, so I made background and added dots on top, because that's what I do. And this was just a play with paints and doodles. then I think this is the page or spread in this journal that I like the least. This kind of pattern filled it in with watercolors that I feel maybe, I don't know why, it does not speak to me at all. And I guess I tried to do more bunnies like the ones I had in the beginning. Green and orange bunny, and I really like those too, but I'm not really that fond of these, even though they have cute faces. I don't know, maybe because he's missing his arms, and yeah, I don't know, just happens like that, and you can't really love all the pages, and that is not what an art journal is about, I think. If you love all the pages, maybe it's not an art journal, maybe it is a book that you should publish, because you need to practice and you need to try stuff that you haven't done before, and I think that's what I did with these two, and then I didn't really love them, but I think if I do them again in a similar style, I'll like the next couple of bunnies that has this kind of fuzzy fur and better, and yeah, who knows. Anyway, let's just move on from the least liked page to another spread. Watercolor paper. This is the end of that signature, or the beginning of the next. This is the beginning of the next signature, so here's where the two signature meet, and you can see some of the stitches, and yeah, this is Doodles with a black marker, and then colored in with watercolor mostly, and maybe some pens, brush marks, I don't know. So kind of the symbols of the earlier pages, they're stars, because I've been obsessing with stars, birds, some happy balloons for July, and some bluebells, and then some doodles and some journaling, because this is not really good for watercolors, so I didn't add any there. This is the rare occasion where I've brought in some acrylic paint. I drew her with a charcoal pencil, and since I couldn't really color her in with watercolors, I brought out my acrylics and just colored her in, and she turned out to be a little angel friend. And this is a page that is from a paper bag with this little friend printed on from Schoolism. I really like this cutie, so I wanted to keep him, and I made the paper bag into a page in this journal. So then I just lettered the "Please let the transformation begin" and added some acrylic polka dots, and just left it like that because he's cute. And Schoolism is really cool, and check those out if you are into Disney drawing kind of things and animation. Anyway, this is a spread I love as well so much. It's so cool. I love this piece of paper that I stuck in and then painted on top of. It had the flower doodles, and I wanted to save those somewhere, so just stuck it in, and then I did this gouache painting, and then wanted to do another tiger, and this is definitely inspired by an artist called Yo-Yo Nasty. She's a Swedish artist and she has a class on Domestika. So if you want to take that class and check her out, she does really cool things. She's on Instagram as well, and I painted along with her and did a tiger in her style, which are these ones. And I love how cute he is with the tongue sticking out. Brown paper bag and watercolor paper in the same spread. This, on the other hand, is really weird. But I don't know that I want to change anything, or because how to explain this? This was doodle and watercolored on folded watercolor papers that was not bound into anything. So I had them, I drew on them, and then I made the book. So these are were finished when I made the book, and I haven't added anything to them. I think I scanned this so I could use it as like a printable or something, but I haven't, otherwise I haven't added anything to these 2 pages, and I'm just gonna leave them like that. Another paper bag. You can even see the little perforations here at the top of the page. I loved how these look, so I kept them. And then this is acrylic paint as well, and this says an elephant never forgets, or does he? And this is a watercolor exercise from a newish book. It was new in the spring, and I meant to do a book review of it. I really liked it. It's called Watercolor Textures for Artists by Ana Victoria Calderon, and I love her style and her tutorials, and I like the book a lot. I got her book as a review copy, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it and did some of the exercises. These are not even finished exercises from the book, but anyway, I was supposed to write a review, and I haven't. I might have started it, but I've had so many things in my brain that I forgot. Even elephants can forget, you know. So I should post that book review to my blog and just share my thoughts on it. More paper bags. Love this edge. Did I say that already? In any case, I do love it so much. So pretty. So girl with doodles and some thoughts about things and how to put things together as a whole when you're creative. And this is Santa Lucia, or someone wanting to visit you and say that to you. Happy Santa Lucia. So I have blog posts on how to make saffron buns and why we celebrate this Italian saint in Sweden, saint of light, because we need it in the dark. But you can read about that in my blog if you want to, and get the recipe as well. So these are made with pencils, colored pencils that I wanted to give a try. Then very glittery page, lots of polka dots, glitter and colors. And må bra, feel well. I wish for myself and others to feel well and be healthy. Anyway, the brown papers continue for a bit, so I have some collages coming up. like I said, not the typical thing to put in a watercolor book, but that's why I'm mixing in these brown papers, because they're perfect to play with other mediums when you're tired of watercolor or you want to do something else. So this page I covered with little bits from my scrap inbox, just little piece from a book and a magazine and some notes and this and that. Do it to soothe your worried soul. Do it for yourself, my darling. Message to all of us to do some art journaling. And art journaling can be anything. Can be collage, can be pencils, can be doodles, can be glue booking, can be anything. But most of all, it is mixed media, so mixing stuff up. I got a box of polychromos colored pencils, and I love them, but it was really silly of me to try them on watercolor papers because it has some structure, so you have to press really hard to make the colors, I don't know, shine, and I didn't, so I'm not really that into this page. I've even added some watercolors to just cover the pencil, but I pushed on and finished it, so that's that. And this is a fun exercise, watercolor exercise, which I have a tutorial of, and I'm Studio iHanna on YouTube, in case you haven't subscribed and you might want to try this exercise of doing some doodles with a pencil and then coloring them in different ways. And that video is extensive, and I can let you know where it is if you need it. And then some mixed media that didn't go anywhere other than this. I don't know what to say. This is a piece of a napkin that didn't really turn out as bright and fun as it was because it's on brown paper, some acrylic paints, some play with crayons and doodles, and even a little collage. But yeah, not my favorite page. And this is definitely not a favorite page. I think this is a video as well, and I think that is the reason I really don't like it. I was trying to do something that I don't know, it didn't turn out like I wanted it to. It's an okay page. It has some of my own doodles on post-it notes that I cut up, as well as washi tape, this plastic deco tape, bits from scrapbooking paper and stamps and all kinds of things, and then some paint on top of it. Yeah, that's that page. This, on the other hand, I really like. It's another of the paper bags that I used. Where did that page go? This guy. And I didn't want to cover this guy either, so I just left him in the middle and made mostly, I think it's magazines. This is a gold wrapping paper, a doodle on top of a magazine page that I cut out and used, and just the little bits of magazine, and I really love this page. And the quotes and the splatters of paint. I think this might be a favorite collage from this winter, I think. And then this, kind of in a similar vibe, but with some more colors and some neon paint, as well as a focal point, which this page does not have. This one has the chameleon, but watercolors. This is a recent video, and these paints are the Viviva color sheets that I talked a lot about in that video and demonstrated how I've used. And then I've just doodled on top of it after the video was done, using just a regular black pen, as well as this gold metallic pens. They're my favorite. I love using these. They shimmer so beautifully in the light and stand out perfectly both on dark and on lighter colors. And I think that's the last spread. Yeah, this is the last page. I think these are the same Viviva color sheets used. Just played with the metallic paints in that as well, and then went in and doodled. This brown splotch turned into a seabird. Doodled, wrote some, just played on top of the colors, just as I did on these, where I wrote and added dots. This is from an article, how you can increase your creativity, that I wanted to keep, and then some ideas on how to get your viewers' attention when you're working with art and design. That I glued in here, a card that I got from family members, a little pocket with a sticker. This I got in Happy Mail. This is Tammy's card that you can use as a inspiration prompt, and some stickers and some profanity and a unicorn, because why not mix it all up on one page? Yeah, so I think that is my entire art journal. You've seen all the spreads. I haven't kept you from looking at any of these, and if you haven't seen part 1, go and watch that. And this is the conclusion of this notebook and the video. I loved filling this one in. I long to have a next one, but I haven't made it yet. I have lots of other notebooks, like I have talked about before, small, big, altered books, and the doodle book, of course, that I love just using pens and pencils in. I don't do wet media as much in this. So that's the difference, and I hope you give me a thumbs up for this video and become a subscriber to see more from me in the future, and leave me a comment below. I would love to know if any of these pages spoke to you specifically, what you liked, if anything inspired you to go and be creative yourself. Thanks for watching and have a beautiful day.